Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the story's gotten around by now. I've been asked about it enough since, what do I want to say, I guess the merging of my two worlds. I spent about a decade learning, training, fighting, teaching medieval melee combat. I traveled and fought from the DC metro area down to Florida, up to Georgia, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, Missouri, until my vision loss meant I had to give it up in 2018. Early on, I came to a few realizations. I mean, it wasn't like inventing the wheel. Everyone knows practice improves performance, right? Still, much like proper medieval warfare, I suppose, I found that different groups, different houses would train their men and women differently, would arm them differently, would put emphasis on different techniques. Then there were the guys who would tout the creed of, I'm not here to train, I'm here to fight, and profess that they get the training they needed back at home, which invariably they didn't. And at first you figure, so what? That's on them. But that mentality seeps into the rest of your group, and you wind up with a bunch of newer fighters who have no real concept of what they're supposed to do on the melee field, because nobody's ever explained to them why their role matters or what their job is or what the mission is. So they feel relegated to their position rather than embracing it. Or worse, at least to my mind, they tend to follow the example of the I'm not here to train crowd. At which point, sure, they may train single combat and they may very well be very formidable, but that bluff confidence is no excuse for competence. And a bunch of fantastic individual fighters will ultimately fail against a determined foe that knows what it's doing and functions as a group. If you foresee a problem on the horizon and you say and do nothing about it, when it comes to pass, now it's your fault. You could have done something. So to that end, I reached out to the gentry and to the crown and obtained permission and formed my own melee unit and used that to start training other people who wanted to learn. There's nothing quite like that kind of combat. Dozens, hundreds, sometimes thousands to a side, charging across the field. It was one of the great joys of my life, until I could no longer safely participate in a meaningful way. And that left a hole, an itch I couldn't scratch, until I started to write. I realized if I can't effectively describe what it's like to be in combat like that, it begs the question, what the hell was I doing all those years?